Okay guys, welcome back to what is finally our last episode of our Asteroids game. I hope, depending on how long this takes. No, I'm joking. This is our last episode. Episode 11. We're going to be working on the game over menu, but I also want to make a little bit of an update to our lives indicator yesterday. Well, not yesterday, a couple of days ago. I said that I was going to try and find a font that would work, but I got bored of trying to look for one that would actually work, so I'm going to scrap that. Instead, I'm just going to add like a little image of our player next to our lives count so that you can tell that what it means. And then we'll also just add in the actual word score next to our score, so you also know what that means. But then once that's done, that should take about maybe 2 minutes. Once that's done, we will start working on our game over. I think we already started working on this in one of the previous episodes, but we didn't actually finish it. If I'm correct, I think we only made the game over function or method that we will call when the game is over. So we will start working on finishing that and then actually finishing the game. And then if that works, that'll be it for the series, and then we'll start on our new series. And if you haven't watched the third last episode, let me give you a quick peek into what our next game is. So our next game is a little bit of a different one. We are going to be venturing off into the 3D game development. Starting off with a very simple game. Obviously this is all my art for everything that I use, and figure out a better way to do this. But this is going to be our new game. It's going to be called Classic Stack Tower, and what you have to do is you will get a slab that looks like this, like a little rectangle 3D slab that slides in from the left side of the screen and the right side of the screen. That will slide into some center point, and you have to tap on the screen where you want it to stop. And you have to try and stack these on top of each other like perfectly, and if you do not, the overlap of these very top slab will get cut off, and as you keep overlapping, obviously the slab, the slab that then gets generated, the new one, will get smaller and smaller. And the aim of the game is to see how high you can get the stack, and obviously to get the stack as high as you can, you need to avoid the overlap. So that's the purpose of this game. So let's go and close that. So today, let's go and get stuck into it. Today we need to work on, actually let's go and work on a bit of updates to our UI. So let's go fix this quick. So first of all, what we're going to do is we want to go into our canvas, jump into our scene here. And here I am going to add in a new picture. So let's go and say, well, let's create an empty here quick, and here we'll say lives indicator parent, I don't know, parent, something like that. We'll drag in our lives onto that, so we will that's 000. Let's go and lives, we'll copy this guy, copy position, and we'll paste that onto our lives indicator parent. So paste position. So now our lives indicator is over there. So now let's go and reset our lives position, so that should land up in there. Cool. Obviously we don't want our lives the actual word, so we'll go and like leave that like that. We'll put in the 3. Do you want to put times 3? No, we'll just put 3 for now. So we'll leave that like that. But then what we also want to do is we want to add in an image, and this image is going to be this person here. So it's going to be our player. So like that. Now we need to position these. So we want to move our text to about, well, first of all I need to go and resize this. So width, we're going to say about 25 by 25. So that should give us a rough same height as our text. And then our lives, we will say 25 by 25. Or width, we can say 100, just because we don't really need it to be that small. It's always going to be a single digit, so we'll leave it like that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to move it up a little bit so that it's kind of in line. But actually I also want to make this a lot smaller, so let's go and say about 5 by 5 maybe. What does that look like? Okay, that's way too small. Let's go say 10 by 10 maybe. Okay, still way too small. Let's say about 20 by 20. Or maybe let's say 15. 15 by 15. The problem is with this, we need it to be a solid color, that's the problem. We'll just make it 20 by 20, just so you can see it. So we'll leave that like that. I think, can you see that? Yeah, you can see that. And then what we'll do is we will position this somewhere over. Actually, let's go and move this like there into the middle of our parent. So let's see, we can set that like that. Okay. Okay, so now let's go see. Let's pull this over here so we can see what are we doing. We want to zoom into here. So that looks pretty good, but I want to move the image down a bit so that's on the same level as the score. And I'm going to select the parent and I'm going to shift that down a bit and put that over there like that. So 3 lives, I think that looks, I mean it doesn't look great, but it looks fine. Score, we'll leave it the same. Score is equal to 0, that's fine. So let's go see what happens when we play. Everything should stay the same except for the score. The score will say 0 only, which will change. So yeah, score 0. Actually, we could probably just leave it. I think for time's sake, we could just leave it. Yeah, we'll just leave it because I don't really like the actual score label. So also for here, we'll go ahead and get rid of that. So we'll save that. And that is our canvas score implemented. So now let's go and get rid of that and we'll start working on today's episode. So today we're going to be creating a new panel, and in that panel we will add in everything for the game over. So on our canvas, let's go and create a UI panel, and this we'll call game over panel. So on this panel we will, first of all, let's focus on this. So what I'm going to do is, obviously I'm going to change the color because we don't want this color. We want it to be, I don't know, let's make it black, but we'll also add in a little bit of a transparency so that you can actually still see the what's it called, the asteroids moving in the background. So we'll say 120 like that. And then on here, all we want to add in is a text, so text, and this we will say game over. Then let's go and create it much bigger. It doesn't need to be that big, so we'll say about half. Actually, let's just redo that. So let's say we'll make this like that, and then we will position it somewhere in the center of the, why did I do that? Okay, height 200 by 1000. Cool. Font size 100. That's gonna be fine. A bit too small. I thought it was gonna be a lot bigger, so let's say 150. Yeah, that's fine. I'll center that in both vertical and horizontal positions. We'll move it up a bit. What does it look like? Zoom out, game over, cool. It would look so much better if we actually had the correct font, but we don't. I don't know why it doesn't work. I need to figure out how to get these fonts to work. If anyone knows, please comment down below and tell me how to fix the font issue. Actually, I'm just going to import this into here and see if that works. Put this in there. That work? It's called square. Let's see, sprites down. No, actually, did it work? Let's try that. Font square. I don't think that worked. Nope, of course not. Okay, game over. We'll leave it like that. We will auto size the color gradient. No. Can you make it like squashed? Don't think you can. For softness, outline, yeah. No, I don't know. We'll leave it like that. So that's fine. And then under that, we want to copy that. And so first, let's go and say game over label. Get rid of all of that. And then under here, we'll say start new game message, like that. And then in here, we'll say press enter to start new game. Obviously you want to change this to about 25 or maybe about 35. Then we will drag that down to about there. Press enter to start new game. Cool, position Y 30, maybe about, let's see, about 25. Yeah, we'll put, actually let's go 22. 22, let's see if we can make that a bit bigger. 35 to about 40. Looks good. Material, I don't know. Font, I hate this font, I can't stand it. Anyway, so that's all we really need for our game over panel. And obviously when the game is not over, what we will do is we will go and set the game over panel to be not active, so we'll get rid of it. And then when the game is over, we'll go and set it to be active and pause. Or we don't really need to pause the game because you won't be able to control anything because there will be no player in the game. So let's go and disable that for now because we don't really need it to be active unless the game is over. So in our game manager, we have this game over method. This is the one I was talking about earlier. So this is where we want to go and set that to be active, but we don't have access to that. So let's go and say public, what is it? I think it's game object. Actually, it might be transform. Let's try transform game over panel. Let's save that and see if we can drag that into here. When this loads, we will try and drag in our game over panel into our reference of our game manager. So we'll click on our game manager, and now we have our game over panel somewhere over here. This is where we have a reference. So let's go drag that into there. Cool. So that accepts that. So that's a good start. I also want to change this to this, just because I don't know why I wasn't using it before. So let us go and what do we want to do now? We want to set this active when we need it to be active. So game over, the first thing we want to do is we want to say game over panel dot set or dot transform dot set dot, let's try this again, dot game object dot set active true. And then in here we need to say if key code dot, or what am I doing? If input dot get key key code, I think it is key code dot enter, wherever that is. I think it's return. Let's try enter quick. Dot enter. No, I think it's return. Return. So if we press the enter key, we can go and restart the game. So we'll say, we'll just load in the scene again. I think scene. Do we have a scene manager? No, we don't. So let's go and say using, what is it? Use system dot scene. What is it? System Unity engine dot scene management. That's what we need. Like that. Save that. Scroll back down, and then here we want to go scene dot load or scene management. Let's try that again. Scene manager dot load scene What is our scene even called? Sample scene. We probably need to change that. Let's go and call it Asteroids. Like that. Cool. And then obviously we don't really need to reset all of our our game. What am I saying? Our score and our lives count, because loading in the new game scene should reset all of that for us. So let's go and say, we'll save that and we'll jump back into it. I think this should work. I don't really know if, because we set the game over panel to be active, I don't know if we then load in the new scene it will still be active. We'll just have to check about that and see if that works. But if this works and that doesn't happen, then I think that's this game finally complete. So let's see, we've got our game. Okay, so we can destroy asteroids. Now I'm going to stay in the same place so that way we can die. So we got two lives left. Try and destroy. Oh, there we go. Got 1 life left. So let's see what happens next. Now we just need an asteroid to destroy us. So game over. Press enter to start new game. Okay, so that doesn't work. Let's try something else. So let's say I'm going to Google it. So how do we new window Unity get where am I typing? Unity get enter key. Keycode dot what is the keycode? How do I know when key is pressed in input? Get key, enter for big enter button. I use to perform an action if input.get keypad enter. Oh, let's try that. Let's click on that and see space. We might just have to use space. So we'll save that. There's no say input get key code keypad enter. So we'll save that and try that again. Oh, I know why this didn't work. Although actually, okay, I know if this does work, it won't work, if that makes sense. So if it registers that we were pressing enter, it's not going to reload in our scene, because obviously our scene is called sample scene and not asteroids. So destroyed, respawn, let's try and get into an asteroid, destroyed, try and get into another one, game over. Okay, press enter. Okay, so that's not working, so let's go and try something else. Actually, let me just change our scene name. So scene, sample scene. Let's click and call it Asteroids. Reload, and then what we have to do is go to build settings. Okay, so it has loaded that in. Okay, close that. Let's try and see if this works. If not, we might have to just change it from enter to space, because I think I know space will actually work. So let's try and destroy ourself. Let's fly into some asteroids. There we go. That's one done. Fly into the next ones. Okay, giving that our timer has disappeared, so that's good. So 1 life left. Come on, hit the hit. There we go. Press enter to start. Enter. Okay, so that doesn't work. So let's go and change that to space. Keycode dot space. See if that works. We'll save that and then we will try this again. Hopefully that works. Or maybe the problem is you can't really load in a scene you're already in, I guess, maybe. I think you can though, because I think we did that in the Space Hopper game. Did we? I can't remember, it's been a while. We actually need to get back to that. Why am I destroying asteroids? We need to get back to the Space Hopper game and try and finish it. Okay, so what, 2 lives left. Let's see. Try 1 life left. Try. Come on, hit the player. If I move, it's just gonna be okay. So press enter. Okay, obviously. Okay, so that's still not working. So let's go and get rid of this and say debug.log new game. I just want to see if this is actually being called. Because if it's not being called, then that's the issue. But I have a feeling that it is being called, but it is not actually reloading the exact same scene again, because obviously you're in the scene already. So we might have to find a way to restart a scene. So I'm just going to leave that like that and see if it works. So let's go in Google. Let's go and say, okay, you clearly can't leave the window, otherwise it pauses the game, which is annoying. So let's try this again. 1 life left. Come on, there we go. Press enter, space. Okay, so that's not actually being called. Let's see, game over. Okay, I think I know why this is not working, so we need to get rid of this, so let's go cut that out. We'll save that, and then in our update here we'll go and say, well actually let's go and do this. Public boolean game over is equal to false. Obviously, because at the start of the game is not going to be over. So when the game is over, we'll go and say game, not game over, game object. So we'll say game over is equal to true. That, and then in our update here, we'll say if game over, then we can go and paste that. So if the game is over and we press the space button, but now let's try and put the return button back in and see if that works. So I'm gonna simply get rid of this and say scene manager dot load scene asteroids, like that, and hopefully that will work. So let's go save that, which I did, and go back into here and see if this works. So let's play our game and see, hopefully this works now. So now again, obviously we need to get rid of our lives, so we'll stay in the center just because all the asteroids are moving mostly towards the center. Collide, there we go, 1 life left. Game over, press enter to start. Cool, so that's working nicely. That's why it wasn't working. And you can see that it also got rid of our game over panel, which is great. It's reset our points and our score. So now we've got 1 life left and our score is at 500. And if we do this again, we can move around the scene. Okay, so game is over, score is at 0, our lives is at 0, and our score is still at 700, so if we press enter, it all gets reset, lives is back at 3, and our score is back at 0. So that's pretty much it, that's the game finished. That is it. That is... what am I doing? That is our Asteroids game finished. That is Series 6, I think. Asteroid was our 6th game that we made, which is now finally complete. The only one that we haven't really completed is our Space Hopper game, but we're still going to be working on that every now and then. just because that we can actually make that a really nice game over time. I don't want to rush it. So we'll start working on that every now and then. I think I've got one more episode coming out for that game series quite soon, maybe in the next week or two. But like I said at the beginning of the episode, we are going to be starting a new game called Stack Bricks or something like that. Classic brick stack, I don't know, something that stacks slabs of bricks. We're going to be starting that on Monday, I think, or two or 3 days after this episode comes out, so stay tuned for that if you haven't already. Turn notifications on for this channel so you can get notified when that episode comes out. And yeah, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. But yeah, that's it for this episode, and that's it for this game series. So thank you so much for watching the series if you made it to the end from the beginning. I enjoyed making this. This is probably one of my best games that I've made on this channel so far. And I think the next game will be a slight level up, obviously just because it is a 3D game, so it's going to be a bit more complicated. It might take a little more, a few more episodes than this one. Hopefully not, because this one was quite long. But yeah, that's it for this episode as well as this game series. So I will see you guys next time in the new series of Brick Stacker or Brick Break or whatever it's called. But yeah, we'll see you in the next episode. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.